God is my witness. I'll never go hungry again. Not ever. Even if I have to lie, steal, or kill.
The golden and orange hues of sunset glow over the vast green fields of the southern United States. In the heart of this southern paradise stands Tara, the grand estate of the O'Hara family, in all its serenity and splendor. On the wide veranda, a girl in a ruffled white dress sits. Scarlett O'Hara, with playful elegance and a cunning gaze, is chatting with two young men, both utterly captivated by her beauty. Scarlett flirts with a hidden pride in her words, without even needing to try. All the boys of Georgia are in love with her, but she thinks only of one, Ashley Wilkes. On a sunny afternoon at Tara, Scarlett walks alongside her father across the green, sprawling fields, deep in conversation. Suddenly, she hears from her father the news of Ashley's engagement to Melanie. Her face shifts from joy to shock, as if all her dreams have been swept away. Ashley is a calm, thoughtful man, fond of poetry and books. He is the heir to 12 Oaks, the neighboring plantation. Ashley has decided to marry his cousin, Melanie Hamilton, a delicate, gracious girl filled with kindness. Melanie stands in stark contrast to Scarlett, quiet and reserved. The sounds of music and laughter fill the air. 12 Oaks is lavishly decorated with flowers, hosting one of the grandest parties in the South. Women in wide, ruffled skirts and men in elegant southern coats twirl about the verandas and grand halls. But amidst all the color and light, a restless heart beats. Scarlett, in her white flower dress and green ribbons, wears a forced smile. But her restless eyes search the crowd for Ashley. She cannot wait any longer. In a fleeting moment, when the hall quiets for just a second, she pulls Ashley aside into a corner of the house's library. With a trembling tone, her voice wavering between boldness and pleading, she opens her heart to Ashley. "You have to know, I can't bear to see you with her. I love you, Ashley. I've loved you always, ever since we were children." Ashley, calm and polite, responds, "Scarlett, you are very dear to me. Very dear, but I love Melanie. She's the one I intend to spend my life with." Scarlett, stunned, steps back. Her eyes well up with tears, but her pride won't allow them to fall. Beyond the half-open door of the library stands Rhett Butler, a man with a sharp, observant gaze and a smile one could never quite read. He has silently and unexpectedly overheard the entire conversation between Scarlett and Ashley. Scarlett, shocked to see him, freezes, but Rhett, with a mischievous glint in his eyes, says, "I must say, your conversation was most enlightening." Scarlett, flushed with anger and embarrassment, struggles to find words, but Rhett simply laughs and leaves the room. At the heart of the grand party, the sudden sound of heavy drums and cries from the streets tears through the night's calm. War with the North has begun. The war has begun. The guests are instantly stirred. The soldiers' drums and the crowd's excitement turn the celebration into a wave of patriotic fervor. Young men, their eyes shining, eagerly volunteer with pride and smiles. Farewell kisses and a mother's tears tremble in the wind. Among them stands Ashley Wilkes beside Melanie. With a brief, tender kiss, they part. Scarlett watches it all from the window, her hand against the wall, her gaze frozen. Inside her, something collapses. Ashley, mounted on his horse, joins the line of young volunteers riding out from 12 Oaks, while Southern flags flutter in the wind. In the midst of it all, Charles Hamilton, Melanie's brother, who has always been in love with Scarlett, proposes to her. Scarlett, without hesitation, and only to forget Ashley and out of spite, accepts. After a small wedding ceremony, Charles Hamilton also goes off to war, but just a few weeks later, news of his death reaches Scarlett. Months have passed since the war began, and Scarlett is now a young and beautiful widow. To escape the gloomy atmosphere of Tara, she moves to Atlanta to live with Melanie and Aunt Pitapat. At a charity ball, Scarlett spots Rhett Butler. With his signature smile, he approaches her, invites her to dance for the fundraiser, and tries to get close to her, though Scarlett is still thinking about Ashley. Atlanta is no longer a city of music and dancing. Every day, news of the dead is delivered to mothers and wives. The war reaches Atlanta. Scarlett goes to the hospital to help the wounded. In this burning hell, Melanie is about to give birth, and it is only Scarlett, despite her fear, inexperience, and jealousy of Melanie, who takes care of her. Amid blood, tears, and screams, the baby is born and Melanie survives. But Atlanta is in flames and they must flee. Scarlett, with the baby in her arms and the half-conscious Melanie in a carriage, wanders through the burning streets and explosions until Rhett Butler appears and takes responsibility for their escape. At the edge of the city, Rhett asks Scarlett to go on without him. Rhett Butler says to Scarlett, "I love you." But Scarlett, angry that he is leaving her, blames him. A broken carriage rides along a dusty road. The setting sun burns red and heavy over the parched fields. Scarlett, with disheveled hair and torn clothes, reaches Tara. The once grand house is now a ruin, the windows shattered and the home looted. She enters and finds her mother's body on the bed, and her father, broken, staring blankly into a corner. Scarlett searches the grounds for food, but finds little. Then, with a face full of rage, she looks up to the sky and says, "God is my witness, I'll never go hungry again. Not ever, even if I have to lie, steal, or kill." Time passes. The war ends. But the South, after the war, is no longer that proud and honorable land. Homes are destroyed, and the men are either defeated or dead. Scarlett takes over Tara and works fearlessly on the farm. Against her will, she has to keep Melanie and her child at Tara as well. Until one day, Ashley returns and stays at Tara, helping with the farm work. Scarlett's heart still beats for Ashley, but times grow harder. The Northerners demand more taxes, and the pressure increases. The death of her father is another blow to Scarlett. She makes a difficult decision and travels to Atlanta to see Rhett Butler in hopes of saving Tara. But the meeting goes poorly. After an argument, Scarlett returns in disappointment. On the way back, she runs into Frank Kennedy, an old family friend, and realizes he is financially well off. The result of this encounter is Scarlett's marriage to Frank. After the wedding, Scarlett takes over managing Kennedy's lumber business. At social gatherings, people judge her, calling her shameless and dangerous. Later, Frank, who is involved in a plot against the Northerners, is killed by Union soldiers. Around the same time, Rhett Butler returns and proposes marriage. Scarlett accepts, not just for the money, but with a hope for love. Their wedding is grand, but in their luxurious mansion, a cold emptiness looms. Rhett is in love, but Scarlett's heart is still with Ashley. Time passes, and they have a child. Bonnie, a small, beautiful girl. Scarlett, as a mother, loves her dearly, but in her heart, Ashley still lingers. Rhett realizes Scarlett still thinks of Ashley and angrily tells her, "You still live for him, Scarlett." But Scarlett refuses to see that Rhett is the man who saved her from her hard life. As Bonnie grows, Scarlett and Rhett argue more often. One day in the garden, Bonnie suddenly falls from her horse and dies. Scarlett screams, and hearts stop in terror. Rhett, who always tried to stay strong, breaks down in the face of this innocent child's death. Everything falls apart for him. During this time, Melanie, always kind and comforting, falls ill. On her deathbed, she asks to see Scarlett. With great effort, she tells her, "Rhett loves you. Never forget that." Scarlett leaves the room and embraces Ashley. Rhett, seeing this scene, becomes furious and returns to the mansion. At that moment, Ashley, with a trembling voice, tells Scarlett that after Melanie, life has no meaning for him. Suddenly awakened from her illusions, Scarlett, with tearful eyes, realizes the true love was in her hands all along, and she never knew it. After Melanie's death, Scarlett, heartbroken and shaken, runs all the way home. She reaches the house in tears and sees Rhett Butler in the hall, ready to leave. Scarlett begs him not to go and confesses, "I love you, Rhett. I always have." But Rhett, without showing any emotion, replies, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn." Rhett slowly walks to the door, and as it closes, Scarlett stands frozen in shock. Everything is over. After Rhett leaves, Scarlett stands in a cold, dark house, sad and alone. But she walks to the window with a determined face and says, "Tomorrow is another day. I'll return to Terra. No matter what, I'll bring Rhett back."